The topic of this video being what it is, I want to start off by welcoming all my new subscribers, especially those on YouTube with what has been going on there in regards to myself and censorship at the moment. Any and all growth I have found there since it has started has been, as far as I can see, due to sheer luck for the most part, especially in comparison to other smaller alternative platforms, which I will be getting into later on in this video. I also want to thank all of my subscribers, both new and old, those of you who have stuck around and done so for a while now. I really appreciate that you have done so, and it deserves to be recognized. Somehow you have managed to put up with me for as long as you have, and the fact that you did does mean a lot to me. One in particular I don't want to single out here, but I'm going to because he deserves a thank you, along with maybe a nod and an apology, is someone on BitChute. The subscriber I'm referring to is Hexagod. I hope I'm saying that right. On some things we don't see eye to eye, and our interactions have become a little heated in the past. Thinking back to some of my comments with them, it may have seemed like I was being a bit harsh at times. At least in the context of communicating with text, it could seem that way without anything to go on beyond that, lacking any real tonality. I want to say I'm sorry for that, if that has been the case. I never intended to come across in that way. Hexagod has been very supportive of me over on BitChute and has been there since just about the beginning for me there. He has also been watching my video content religiously for the most part too. This is when he does not agree with me on a variety of things. Finding someone like that as a subscriber, a person who is in an echo chamber that sticks by you even when you disagree and the discussion gets heated, that isn't commonplace. For him doing that, he really does deserve a thank you from me with how it may have seemed like I was acting towards him. I also want him and others who have brought up my language to know I have taken it to heart and have been trying to make a conscious effort to cut back on the swearing, at least to some extent. I will admit at times, I do have a tendency to swear like an illegitimate child of a Marine and a truck driving whore when making my content. This is why, as part of this, I have made it this far without dropping a single F-bomb or used any other colorful language for that matter. I actually think this might be a record for me. Kidding here, of course. I am doing this all on my dime and in my free time currently. That being said, the only incentive I have is all of you and your support through watching my videos. Fighting the uphill battle I have, such as with what is going on YouTube, it is all of you, regardless of where you are subscribed to me, that are keeping me going. Thank you for doing that. It truly is appreciated. I should probably get to the heart of this video and make my case for why I believe that YouTube is currently censoring me. As with making a case for anything, it is best to go back to the beginning, so I'm going to do just that. At first, things were a little slow for me getting views and subscribers on YouTube. I actually expected it. I was just starting out, had absolutely no clue on what I was actually doing beyond some of the tech aspects involved with creating content. On top of this, I am far from a graphic artist, and my initial foray into trying to be one was far from professional quality. To say my graphics were bad, that would be an understatement. Eventually, I did improve some of them, at least a little, and more recently I have again made some other changes in regards to things like my thumbnails / title screens. I have been trying to improve my content in regards to other aspects of it as well. I want to provide those who are viewing it the best that I can offer them, and that is a process of continuous growth. As a result of this, at least on platforms other than YouTube, I have seen an increase to my steady growth on them. This is because, in part, of the improvements in the quality of my graphics, as is their ability to draw someone's attention towards looking at them and their corresponding videos. This is when on YouTube, the largest video sharing platform with the largest user base. As I made these changes, I honestly didn't see much, if any, return on them. It was actually getting a little frustrating to an extent seeing the changes work on other platforms but not on YouTube. It was seeing discrepancies like these that started to tip me off that I might not be on a level playing field in regards to the platform. The first discrepancies I noticed happened to be as a result of uploading content to VidMe. VidMe. The alternative to YouTube that aspired to one day be just like it. The memories of a copycat failure. It was the first place I started uploading my content to beyond YouTube. It was the first place that I quickly saw my numbers of subscribers soar past those on YouTube. This was when I was limited on what video content I could upload there due to their video duration limits on non-verified content creators. Which ironically they linked becoming verified there to the number of YouTube subscribers you had. This was only selectively enforced though, because they used it against people if they were speaking wrongthink in order to try to make it harder for them to do so over there. I was one I believe they did this to too. Every other content creator I knew, even those with a similar number of subscribers as I had at the time, all of them were quickly verified there. This is while I was given form emails about subscriber numbers on YouTube being too low and my pointing out how others were being verified that didn't meet the required amount without that being an issue. Even with the restrictions of being limited in what content I could upload there, I was still able to get close to triple my subscriber base on YouTube in a short time. This was with the disadvantage of my god-awful first attempt at graphics definitely not helping me. Even with something like that staring me right in the face, I tried to make excuses for it. I really and truly did. I didn't want to think there could be some quote-unquote conspiracy to censor me at the time, even if a result of an algorithm not liking me. With the size of my channel, it just seemed too paranoid delusional to me, and I didn't want to think that way so early into creating my content. Plus, how does it look for a creator with such a small subscriber base on YouTube making a video based solely on gut feeling and some peripheral evidence to back it up, claiming they are being censored on the platform? To a lot of people, it would look like I'm just crying woe is me and looking for sympathy and attention. From outward appearances, it could look that way, and I know the thought would cross my mind if I came across a video someone made like that with nothing more than those things to back them up. I am no longer at that point now, regardless of the size of my channel on YouTube. I now have more than just a gut feeling and a disparity in subscribers and views between YouTube and another site. I have that being a consistent trend with multiple sites in comparison now. I also have screen captures of YouTube messing with my analytics on top of this. Here's my YouTube channel page. As you can see, at the time of working on this video, I have 162 very much appreciated subscribers that I fought hard to get, and I'm extremely lucky they were able to come across my content on YouTube or Google. This is when I created my channel back on February 9th, 2017. Please note though, this screen capture was grabbed late in the process of making this video, and prior to the day of recording the audio for it, I only had 161. By far, this is my smallest presence when it comes to YouTube and other alternatives to it. It finally just reached the size of my banned Twitter account. An account that was shadow banned long before this point on top of things. And I created both my YouTube and Twitter accounts close to each other time-wise too. Here is my channel over at BitChute. I created it approximately 11 months ago in September 2017. Time-wise, I am 7 months behind there in comparison to YouTube. Yet on a smaller platform, my subscribers are over 2.4 times that of YouTube, at 391 during the making of this video. On a smaller platform, in a substantially shorter time, I was able to grow much larger, much quicker, with less exposure to the internet. BitChute didn't have nearly the attention it has now when I started uploading there too. Could it be that a company has been throttling my content, even shadow banning it? Let's take a look at lifetime views and see if there's some validity to this. Total views really can and do say a lot, more than I am sure people realize. It is more than just a record of the number of views over a channel's lifetime. Those numbers can give an idea on growth and popularity of a channel without the benefit of fancy analytics if you care to do some simple math to extrapolate things like average views per month. It won't be exact, being the total views divided by the increment of time you have chosen, but it does give you an idea of what is going on for sure. If you were to monitor this number, as YouTube supposedly does reflecting actual content interaction daily or hourly, it can tell much more than that. To make my case that something fishy is going on with my channel on YouTube, I don't need to go that far. I don't need anything remotely that elaborate. This is because what I'm about to show you, along with the difference in subscribers you've already seen, cannot be ignored or just blindly written off. There really is no way to explain it away, especially when there is an apples-to-apples comparison being made. As you can see here, my lifetime views on YouTube for a channel that is close to a year and a half old is 11,374 according to my analytics. For the amount of videos I have posted in that time, without any outside comparisons for context, it looks pretty pitiful. It genuinely and truly does. Hell, I am the first to admit it, and it is my channel. If it wasn't for my numbers on BitChute and DTube, which I will be getting into DTube shortly after BitChute, I would feel genuine shame for my performance and be blaming myself and no one but myself, which just happens to be the desired psychological effect of things like throttling and shadow banning in order to censor creators and others on the internet. Go figure. Now, as you can see, here are the total views of my channel on BitChute. Do you notice anything different? Could it be that I have almost twice the number of views, not to mention well over 2 times the subscribers on a channel that is not even 2/3 the age of my YouTube channel? I know when I started seeing that happen, I started to take notice to it. How can you not? Something like that is attention-getting because it makes absolutely no logical sense whatsoever. This is due to the fact if it truly came down to my content and what I'm saying in it, my numbers in regards to views and subscribers would show a similar trend across all platforms my content is uploaded to beyond YouTube. At least that is what logic would dictate. Yet, as you've seen here, that is not the case. If it was, the numbers of YouTube and those of BitChute would be reversed. That is, if we are talking from a place of logic and level playing fields where someone isn't stacking the deck against you, pardon the mixing of metaphors. DTube, a platform I actually like because of the cryptocurrency aspect to it and how it is generated through community interaction, even though it doesn't keep track of things like views, my channel on it does shed a bit more light onto something not being quite right in regards to YouTube and my channel on their platform. As you can see, when it comes to DTube, my subscribers are higher than on YouTube to the tune of 91 subscribers at 252. This is over 1.5 times of a difference in the number of subscribers between the two platforms. My channel at DTube is also a lot younger too in comparison to YouTube. Almost 10 months to be exact. The user base is much smaller over at DTube on top of it. If YouTube wasn't doing things to me like say shadow banning or throttling for example, and it truly was a level playing field, there is no way this would be the case. Far from it. At least that would be the logical conclusion to make, one would think. On what I have shown so far, I believe I have made a case, be it on logic and sizable circumstantial evidence to show that YouTube is censoring me, my content, and my channel in some way, shape, or form. But I have way more than this alone to back me up. Trust me, if I didn't, I wouldn't have taken the time to take screen captures, written the script for this video, recorded the audio for it, edited it all together as I have here, and you wouldn't be watching this right now. Because what I have shown up till this point does make a compelling case, but it does not show conclusively that YouTube is actually taking actions against me. What I'm about to show you now, it is a different story when it comes to conclusive proof that YouTube is being shady and taking actions to limit my channel's reach and growth. What it shows is the deliberate throttling of my content along with the rigging of views on top of this to the point of rolling back the counts like a shady used car salesman rolls back an odometer. All of it is an effort to try to hide and limit my organic growth after the fact. There is no other explanation for it except that. Social Blade can be useful to look at in order to see and gauge a channel's growth. The same can be said about it being useful for catching YouTube in the act of manipulating a channel's analytics. I bet YouTube didn't take into account exposing the API for third parties to access channel analytics might not be a good idea when you eventually end up manipulating them due to things like political leanings of the company, its employees, and those who manage it. If they had thought about it, I wouldn't be able to show you this. As you can see, and this is what really tipped me off something was up on my channel, I have a negative view count of 14 when this screen capture was taken a little over a week ago on July 23rd at 1:18 p.m. Eastern Time. Seeing that, I would love to know how someone is capable of taking back their viewing of video after the fact. I know there were times I wish I could do it and get the time I lost back from watching videos, but it would sort of defy the laws of time and space. If YouTube wasn't stealing views from my videos and channel, that would be the only logical way it was happening. We aren't living in a world of science fiction, so I don't see that being the case. What I do see though is that I caught them red-handed manipulating view counts. It was out of sheer luck that I did too. Before moving on, I want you to notice how many views I got the day before they're going negative. Total views for that previous day was 728. This is going to come into play in a minute and later on as well. This is because what YouTube's analytics show to me and the raw data from accessing its API are completely different, and one of them has to be wrong or a flat out lie. Which in all honesty, I am more apt to trust Social Blade over YouTube, not having an axe to grind with any ideology, person, or belief, unlike YouTube itself. Saying that, as you can see here, if they are going to lie, YouTube does it big. As we have already seen on the 22nd of July, I received 728 views, yet according to YouTube itself, I only received a fraction of the views on that day. They have my total views over 24 hours from Social Blade as close to my estimated total for a 48-hour period of the 22nd and 23rd. How does that remotely make any sense? It doesn't unless YouTube is manipulating my view count. That is the only explanation for it. There is no other. The screen capture also shows that messing with my views wasn't the only manipulation going on either. If you look at the 48-hour graph on the left, you can see that in 1 hour, what is most likely the video in question received supposedly only 450 views, then nothing after that. To me, that shows their manipulation of the numbers as it took off and started going viral, in order to nip that in the bud. Somehow, it looks like I managed to get it past their shadow ban on me in order for it to have done that, and they didn't like that I did. Once it took off like that, it must have tripped something algorithmically, say because my channel was red flagged for something like this possibility happening. It only makes sense when my views all of a sudden drop like a stone to almost nothing by the next hour. It was nipped in the bud with extreme prejudice. A video does not just go viral like that for an hour tops and then have its organic growth just stop. Things do not work like that on the internet. The only way for this to happen is due to direct human intervention, either through an individual doing something or by programming an algorithm to do it for them when certain conditions are met. Whatever those conditions happen to be, it appears I met them. It might have been the title of the video, Google Insider rigs search of idiot to show pics of Trump, CNET claims Reddit behind it. That set it off. It could have been the tags that I used for the video. It could have been the scan of what I said by YouTube systems. It may have been the fact that all of a sudden it was getting views for me. It could have even been any combination of these things and some others. The only ones who would have any clue to this would be the people at YouTube. As I said a few minutes ago with the 48-hour graph, it supposedly shows 450 views in that hour and then channel views died right after that. As you can see here though, that is clearly not accurate using the video that went viral. This screen capture was taken only a couple minutes after the one showing the real-time analytics 48-hour bar graph for my channel. It shows 600 views in 48 hours and how all traffic ceased to it after that first hour of going viral. That is a pretty big, not to mention damning contradiction in numbers on the same web page. Here is another contradiction on top of others. As you can see here, the total views for my video that got censored are 615 and was taken only moments after the last screen capture. So there is no way it received 15 views in that short of an amount of time, not unless it started to go viral again, which we all know wasn't the case. As you can see here with this screen capture taken less than 24 hours later, in less than a day the video lost 34 views somehow. The only way something like this can happen is if, and only if, there is direct manipulation going on. There is no other way for it to happen. This means that YouTube did something to physically make them disappear from the record of total views. How else would a video go from 615 to 581? There is no other explanation for it. The manipulation of my channel by YouTube didn't stop there though. Here we are on the 26th of July, and again here is YouTube stealing views from my channel, and God only knows which videos it was on this day. I was unable to determine where they were removed from at the time I took it. But I still wanted to show it where it is part of showing a pattern of YouTube taking actions against myself, my videos, and my channel. For all I know, part of the views YouTube stole were the ones for this video with 0 views. This video has definitely been viewed on BitChute, as I am pretty sure it has been on DTube as well. Yet on YouTube, calling out the hypocrisy of the left crying Russia interfered with, hacked, influenced, or whatever they are claiming today in regards to the last election, while wanting to give foreign nationals, including illegals, the right to vote, seems to get no attention whatsoever. Ironic how that is the case. One would think it would get at least 1 view from their millions of users after all. You'd think on top of this, YouTube would have let a couple slip through as not to expose it most likely being censored. It would make sense to do that after all. Otherwise you are almost literally asking to get caught. Even if it is only with circumstantial evidence, it will happen, like I may have possibly done here. With everything I have presented in this video, I believe I have made my case that YouTube is censoring my channel and content using multiple tactics to do so. When my subscriber base is much larger on smaller platforms out of proportion to their size and reach, it backs this up. When there are contradictions with their own analytics between their own site and a third party using them, it too backs this up. When there is clear evidence of stealing views from my channel, again the fact I am being censored is backed up. So does the video with no views that calls out the left for crying Russia while wanting to give foreign nationals the right to vote, with the political leanings of Alphabet, YouTube, and Google. There is too much here to ignore and try to claim there isn't censorship being taken against me by them. If you think I have made a compelling case here for YouTube actively censoring me, please share this video. I know that I can't be the only one who is experiencing this happening to them, and what they are doing to creators like myself needs to be exposed so something can be done about it. Plus, I am sure other creators who are dealing with it, whether they know it or not, would like to know they are not alone. I know that if I didn't have other platforms to see something wasn't above the board and had only focused on YouTube, I would have probably reached a point of frustration to where I could have likely given up creating content, which I believe is part of the intent of what YouTube is clearly doing to me on its platform, as it would also want to do with others spouting wrongthink or whatever else it doesn't like. On top of this, if you are a content creator on YouTube or are thinking about becoming one, seeing what I am dealing with in regards to the site, don't count on it alone. Diversify yourself and upload your content on multiple platforms. Do not trust them to not censor you, especially if you are starting out. After all, without any reference to make comparisons, they could easily do it without your knowing. As always, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.